Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of the Bloody Legends with Jai That Aussie Metal Guy and Jim Taylor. Make sure you're a bloody legend and hit that like and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the great content from these bloody legends. G'day, how are you all going? It is time for another edition of the Bloody Legends with Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, my awesome co-host Jim Taylor, presented by Cranium Radio and Crannk.com. So today, tonight, wherever you are in the world, it is with great pleasure that we have the whole High on Fire crew. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, to talk about the latest album, Cometh The Storm, which came out 19th of April through MNRK Heavy. Cheers, guys.
Hey, cheers.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
No, absolutely.
It's perfect.
It is, just like this bloody album, guys. Tell us a little bit about all about this album, your songwriting process for it, because it's an absolute fucking ripper of an album. It is the first since Electric Messiah, and it is also the first to feature yourself, Coady, on drums there that absolutely tears it apart over the kit, man. So,
thanks. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, I think that was a
Thanks,
major
guys.
part of it. You know, Coady joining the band definitely changed things up a bit. It's just a lot of years sitting on, the COVID just put a wrench in our normal cycling, and then the departure of Dez definitely had a hand. And I feel like we're building this band back from the ground up a little bit, and I think we all had a lot of time to kind of be like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Who am I? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, the world is shut down. I think there's a lot of deep with everybody in the world. So a lot of consciousness changed, and there you go. Was that a fart? Like someone had a fart
I think it was a koala dropped their farting out the back there. Coady,
that sounds like someone that sat on a whoopee cushion.
That was good.
It was. Coady, tell us all about for you joining High on Fire. What was it like and making this album with the guys as well?
I mean, I've known these guys for a long time. My other band, Big Business, one of the first tours we ever did was with High on Fire.
Awesome.
I was playing in the Melbournes, and High on Fire in the Melbournes went on a tour of New Zealand, Australia, and Japan, where we managed to hit 2 major earthquakes in the same tour. So we've already been through some. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I mean, we've been through some shit together, and Jeff and I, one of the first European tours I ever did, my other band, Murder City Devils, was with Jeff's band Zeke, and we shared a bus on tour. So we've been on adventures together before, and it was cool. I didn't expect Jeff to give me that call, and I was like, I think I said yes right away, just because I was like, yeah, that'd be so fun. Like that'd be a good time. And he's like, good, because we got a show in 3 weeks. So my first show back from pandemic was my first show with High on Fire in Austin at this motorcycle track, and it was exciting and scary and crazy. But it's been an adventure ever since. And I live in LA. These guys live in Portland, so it's kind of you kind of got to figure out, get a little creative with the songwriting and practicing and all that stuff. But it's been a great time so far. Yeah, it's been good. Getting these songs together was a process, but it was, we finally, after compiling all these riffs and getting together one-on-one with different members of the band, we kind of got this group of songs together, all got in the same room and hash out. It all came together pretty quick once we all got together in the same space. It was good times.
Did you do this one with Kurt Ballou as well in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Because it's so sonically. I listened to it on headphones, and it was so powerful. It just shoves you back, and I was like, this has got to be Kurt again, and just the levels. I mean, Matt, your guitars, everything, but everything is so separated. It's so heavy and clean. you know, so
Yeah.
it's perfect, dude.
Yeah, that's
That
one of
dude's
the
getting
things I
better
like
and
best
better.
about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love that about Kurt's production. You know, it's just sonically massive. Everything is just really big sounding, but you know, the instruments aren't stepping all over each other. Everything has its own
No,
sonic space.
it's not muddy at all, and
No.
it's because I mean you guys have been in the genre for years with, you know, with doom and stoner, and sometimes it's very not bad. It's just sometimes it's very it's one
Sludgy.
layer sludgy. Exactly. This is like you can hear everything. What was one? Lamb, is it Lamb's Bread? Am I saying that right? The
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
song. That and
Yes.
then when you left Turn Clyde, talk about you guys. Am I saying this right? You guys were influenced by Turkish folk music on this.
Yeah. Jeff's been studying it. And
Okay,
I'm part Turkish and I had a Turkish grandma, so it's
right.
kind of ironic. But Jeff's the one that put a bunch of time, you know, over the years. Like when he first joined High on Fire, we had this
Yeah.
roommate, and Rich is in this band, the Secret Chiefs, and you can go from there, Jeff. But yeah, Jeff picked up on what he was doing and kind of jumped in head first, and
Cool
you know,
as hell, dude.
yeah, oh, it
Thank
seems
you.
to fit.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I've been interested in, you know, both Turkish folk music and like just folk music from the Middle East for a number of years. You know, since I joined High on Fire, really, like around 2006.
Oh,
But yeah, last few years I started studying it pretty seriously. Learned how to
okay.
play the bağlama, which is like the Turkish kind of national folk instrument. It's like a lute.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you know, like that kind of music, it's, you know, it's definitely all over the new album, you know, both in like the traditional instruments that you hear on it and in, you know, a lot of the riffs that I wrote for the album on guitar and bass. It's
You can definitely hear
the
it.
fingerprint
You
is
definitely hear it.
definitely there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then with
Man.
that bloody killer instrumental there on track 5, Karen Lick Yol, did I just annihilate it with my Aussie?
No, you got it. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, that was a really, really cool instrumental and really broke up the album as well. And like doom stoner metal albums like yours, especially High on Fire, like really lend itself to listening to the whole album. I know we get stuck in this fucking streaming cycle, but this album from start to finish
Oh, dude.
was impressive. And like I think a couple of comments over on Bandcamp, someone said this is heavier than God's ball sack, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, that's a pretty way to put it
Awesome.
too.
Oh well, it's a heavy ball sack.
It was a heavy sack to wield. Yes.
Man. Yeah, equipment wise, what were you guys
Nice.
playing?
Mm.
Well, I was playing on my new guitars, which is the Matt Pike Warlords. I had my 9-string. I played a bunch on it. I had my typical, my first Les Paul, my 3 pickup, and an SG too. I think I brought
The SG.
yeah. And I used actually Jeff. I sold Jeff a hot rod Soldano. A lot of the guitar tones are that. I think I brought a Gorilla amp, but I think Kurt might have got another Gorilla amp because I told him I wanted that one on there, one of those 80s tube stack ones.
Oh, yeah.
And just a bunch of like Daredevil, Earthquaker, Lone Wolf, all our pedal and Dorsey's, you know, some Dunlop.
Yes, sir.
And oh yeah, and I had my new Seeger guitar. I forgot about that. That thing's like, it's hard to touch. It looks like it belongs in a museum. But I played on that a bunch. But yeah, that's basically it for me. I went
awesome.
simple.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's a smorgasbord of equipment at that studio. Kurt he's got quite a collection of, you know, vintage amplifiers and pedals and get all sorts of guitars. So I guess on my part, I used Dunnable basses for a lot of it. You know, I've got like a signature Dunnable bass that I play a lot. Used a Yamaha 5-string bass as well. And what else? I used a fretless bass for the first time on a High on Fire album, and
Oh,
that
really?
figured pretty prominently. Yeah, I used that on a few tracks. Yeah. So yeah, that bass has like an active preamp in it, which is not something I've ever really used in High on Fire.
Right.
I wasn't sure if I was going to
Thing
like
was
it, but
crazy.
it just
Yeah.
just produces this crazy, just powerful. It's hard to put it into words. It's like someone's pressing on you when you're playing this thing. It's just like a
The
beam
pressure.
of low end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
a good example.
Yeah, go ahead. man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say a good example of that sound, Jeff. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the like the sound of your bass in the chorus of "Cometh the Storm," the song where it comes in. That's the fretless,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
And
that's
yeah, it's
the-
like
That makes sense.
we were recording demos of that song, and he played it in the practice space, and we recorded it. I was listening back, and it was just like, oh my god, this bass sound is insane because it sounded
Yeah.
already compressed and just like so gigantic, but it wasn't compressed at all. And when it came in the chorus of the song, like even in the practice space recording, it was just like
Yeah.
just tore
It
your
hits
face
you.
off. And I was like, oh my god,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
good-
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah,
good
this
lord,
earth-
what the fuck is that, dude? Good God. I was like drown my
Yeah.
guitar out and shit all the way. I had to like crank up all the way.
Earthquake
I thought one of
inducing.
you was. I was gonna say, but I thought maybe one of you was using like an EBO, and so that's the fretless then. That's pretty
the
cool.
fretless, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I used it on that song, Saul's Golden Curse and Lamb's Bread. That's fretless bass on all those songs.
Okay.
Wow. And
Killer.
then so for the basses, that was it. And then I played rhythm guitar on the album too. So I was using I used a couple of different Les Pauls. I got like an '89 Les Paul custom in custom all silver and black. So like it's kind of like a silver burst, but just solid silver. Really cool guitar. And then I got a '91 Les Paul Standard. It's very similar to Matt's Les Paul Standard that he's had since the Sleep days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they look identical almost, except mine's a little more tour beat up, but you know.
Yeah, mine looks like a new guitar, and his looks like it's been dragged behind a car.
It's well loved.
Yeah,
It is. No, it's
definitely.
played. It has my blood. It has my actual blood and sweat inside of it.
I believe it. Wow. That's
It's
cool.
got a hole. It's got a hole in the pickup cover, in the bridge pickup cover, the metal cover
Refused to
from
change
just
it.
the pick. Yeah.
Oh
Like,
wow.
How long does it take to wear a
Crazy.
hole through the metal with a plastic pick? That's like insane.
That was within like it's had that since I like lived in. I don't know. I'd have to say before 2000, I did that.
Okay.
Before the year 2000, I did that. And I bought it in 91. So about 10
Jeez.
years.
Your riffs are so heavy, it's boring holes in instruments. That's cool. Oh man.
Nice. Did we catch your setup there, Coady?
Yeah.
I play DW drums and Pisces cymbals
Okay.
and Remo drum heads. But yeah, we
nice.
spent a lot of time on this record. Was actually the most time I've ever spent in the studio paying attention to the drums and setting up the drums. I think we spent about 3 days, maybe 3 days plus, tuning the drums, trying different tunings, shooting out different microphones, finding out which one sounded best in combination with all the other ones. And yeah, Kurt knows the studio really well. So he had kind of like a boilerplate, like he wanted to try this, and then we ended up switching out a bunch of different microphones. And I'm pretty happy with the result. And we actually, the snare drum on the record, we tried a bunch of different snares, and we actually ended up using this titanium snare that I think Kurt actually made. And I think that was a snare. It might have been the same snare drum that was on Electric Messiah too. He said he'd used it previously recording a High on Fire record. So, but that one just projected the most and sounded the best for what we were doing. So, yeah, it was cool to spend that much meticulous attention to how every single drum sounded and the room and all the different microphones and stuff. So, spent some time getting it right. It was nice.
That's killer. That is so killer. How long did it take you front to back to do everything? And had you had preconceived notions of like every song prior, or was it, did you write anything in studio as well?
We went in with we had our agenda as far as songs went. We had gotten all the demos, but it was demoed out pretty good. I had a lot of the lyrics done, but not all of them. I think the same thing with like my guitar solos and some of the riff arrangements and we had pieces of music, but they weren't like complete. We just kind of had an idea of what they were going to do. And then, I'm sure these guys still had to work on theirs too while you're in there. You're just waiting for a happy mistake, or or you're just getting it down better or whatever. Oh, yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah, we had a good amount of the basic song structures, or at least, the main skeletons of the tunes pretty much in place when we went in. There were a few of them that kind of we sort of like arranged and came up with some new parts for in the studio. We were kind of doing pre-production in the early stages of after we went in. But yeah, we had a pretty good idea of what the songs were going to be going in there.
Awesome.
But then we did we kind of did the recording in two different legs. We had like kind of the initial like drum and like the basic tracks. We had, was it a 2-week break in between? We went and played a festival in Portland. And then we came back and finished afterwards. And in addition to that, once we got all the basic tracking done, I did some extra percussion tracking back at my studio in LA, just layering stuff up on different songs. Some of it we used, some of it we didn't. And then Jeff did a bunch of extra tracking on his own too for the Karen Likiol. There's some extra, I mean, you put Mellotron. I did some extra percussion for that too, but I think that is definitely the most layered, highest track count of all the songs on the record. It's every time you listen to it, especially when it gets toward the end, you can just hear the layers piling up, and it just gets more and more dense as you go. So you always kind of hear something new in that one.
Yeah, I don't know what the final track count on that song is, but I think I did something like, just the Balama tracks alone. I think there's like something like 12 of them. And then there's the bass and the bass. And then like I did some like kind of guitar with like a Mellotron effect on it, and then an actual Mellotron. And then, yeah, there's a lot going on there. Lots of percussion. Yeah, I also recorded some of the bass for the album at my house, just in my home studio. Probably about half the bass tracks on the album I recorded just DI and then sent them to Kurt, and he reamped everything.
Nice. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. Matt, can you tell me a little bit about kind of where you went lyrically for influence and inspiration on this album, dude?
Definitely.
Well, yeah. I mean, like always, my esoteric mythos is added on to how I metaphorically choose my poetry. A lot of it's about hypocrites like the World Economic Forum and these billionaires flying around telling us that, oh, go to save the planet. It's all okay. You already have $1 billion. Why haven't you saved it yet? And at the same time,
right,
if we have this much money, how am I going to pay 13 trillion trees back for their skins? Like just stupid shit like that. But then a lot of it's metaphorically about us building our band back and building our lives back up. Some of it's about, the time during, the pandemic and just throughout the years, like looking at yourself in the mirror and going in deep and not just being so doomy, but being all is there hope. And also, the subject of like, we're just talking about nuclear war, like it's an everyday occurrence. Like, oh yeah, no one wins that. That's the whole point behind Cometh the Storm, is like, no one wins that war. You're going to fucking destroy humanity all the way. And you're talking about it like a fucking maniac. You're insane to even think that's okay. to even bring it up, So
Right.
I don't know. I don't try to take too much of a political standpoint, So then I write songs like Lamb's Bread about weed, or Trismegistus about Thoth, and just use various mythologies to how I feel the song sounds to
That's so
me,
cool.
and whatever particular story about hermetics I happen to be reading, or like H.P. Lovecraft things. So, it's all
Hell
over
yeah.
the place. No theme on this one exactly. Those are just kind of some subjects I covered.
Yeah, definitely. Had some killer artwork on the front of this album as well, and the vinyls look absolutely
Very
bloody
cool.
unreal. That ship kind of in the clouds there, and with the lightning and
Yeah.
everything behind it.
Yeah,
And then
Eric Roper, he's worked with us a lot over the years, and I know there's a typo and his name didn't get mentioned on the credits, so I just wanted to put that out there because that was an accident. But he did sign it, so you can kind of tell, and he's very famous. But I wanted to throw that out there because I had no idea.
And that's why it pays to get the bloody vinyls and the physicals, people, because you can have that killer artwork at home as well.
Exactly.
And you guys recently celebrated, I think, 25 bloody years of High on Fire, and released that the latest the Art of Self-Defense, which was the debut album, remixed and remastered last year as well.
Yeah.
That was really well done. I know.
Funny thing about that.
That was really good, and I got a fellow DJ at the station I work for that absolutely fucking loves you guys, and he's like, ask them if they had any plans to remix and remaster any of their earlier albums as well.
Oh, it was me and Billy that did that, because I don't think Jeff wanted to jump on board with that because he wasn't on that record.
Yep.
But Dez actually found the reel-to-reels, and I had them baked. You have to bake and tape if it's sitting around, and I had the reel-to-reels. Then you get it formatted to digital so that you can use Pro Tools or whatever you're using, to remix it. We did not have a DAT tape, so we did not have the original mix of that, and nor did we have. I just had tapes, so we started from scratch, and then had it remastered. And I went and thickened up a couple of the guitars just with a real, like, you wouldn't even know it's there. Just pushed some wideness and bass in it. And we pulled the bass up and tried to get some separation, and make the kicks a little less reverby, like all over the place, and just tried to clean it up and make it beefy, and it actually sounds like a record from now instead of a demo. I always thought it sounded really good, but very demo-ish. And in the future, I would like to do Surrounded by Thieves again, but I'm not sure about any of the other,
Yeah, I know some bands, they do re-recording with the lineup they've got on as well. Is that ever a possibility as well?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
Any live shows coming up, guys, you want to plug to support this album? Or you're able to plug, actually?
Yeah, we have a East Coast tour coming up now that we're practicing for right now. I should pull up the dates right in front of me here. Hold on.
I was going to say, I was about to do the
that's
same
not
thing.
it.
That's where all
I had it pulled up, and then I lost it.
As we
and then after that, we're going to go
here.
to Europe. We're going to go to Europe for until early July.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we'll be over there for doing most of the festivals and stuff. Hold on.
Yeah, that European festival circuit's absolutely unreal.
That's always like
Yep.
Yeah. US, we're starting out in Orlando on May 4th and going through to Chicago at the end on May 18th.
Nice.
And we'll be touring with Zeta and High Command.
Nice.
And then over to Europe after that, and we're going to play some festivals and stuff.
Fuck yeah, so you can catch High on Fire on the road
stuff.
all over the bloody place. Hopefully
And
in Australia sometime in the near future as well.
Hopefully
guys.
So.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Quickly, favorite track off the album and why?
Yeah.
That's
like picking a child. I know it's like picking a child, isn't it? It is. It's like picking a child. I know.
It changes.
Oh,
It
most
changes.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't
like
know,
them all,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice, guys. We will wrap it up there anyway, guys. Any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in there?
Oh no, just keep an eye out for us in Australia, and thank you all for listening, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Thanks for all the support. Just the reaction to the album has been amazing. And yeah, just thanks to everyone that's, bought the album or streamed or listened. And yeah, hope to see you out on the road.
hell yeah.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Definitely.
Cool. Thanks,
I
guys. Thank
second
you
that.
very much. Yeah, I was waiting for Coady. Cheers, guys. You have an awesome evening. Thank you very much
man.
for the
Awesome.
time.
Thank
Right
you.
on.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.